Good evening. The State Weather Bureau raises tropical cyclone wind signal number 1 over parts of Luzon due to tropical depression Mirasol. In its 5 p.m. bulletin on Tuesday, September 16, Pag-asa says Mirasol was last spotted some 210 kilometers east and northeast of Infanta, Quezon. It carries maximum sustained winds of 55 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 70 kilometers per hour. Signal number 1 is up over 16 areas in the zone where strong winds may bring minimal to minor impacts. State meteorologists also warn of heavy rains over Cagayan, Isabela, Quirino, and Aurora from Tuesday to Wednesday afternoon, September 17. The agency says these areas may experience flooding and landslides due to the expected downpour. According to Pag-asa, Mirasol is currently moving northwestward at 25 kilometers per hour. Pag-asa forecasts Mirasol to make landfall in Isabela or the northern portion of Aurora by Wednesday morning. However, the agency says no landfall scenario is also possible depending on the cyclone's movement. Pag-asa says Mirasol is expected to re-emerge over the Luzon Strait by Thursday morning, September 18, and will continue moving north-northwestward. It will then exit the Philippine area of responsibility between Thursday afternoon and evening. The Anti-Money Laundering Council is freezing the bank accounts of individuals linked to corruption complaints over questionable flood control projects. Department of Public Works and Highway Secretary Vince Dizon says the order covers all individuals who have received and will receive complaints filed with the Ombudsman. In a letter dated September 12, Dizon requested freeze orders from the Anti-Money Laundering Council for several DPWH officials and private contractors. Among the individuals cited in Dizon's letter are Sara and Curly Discaya, who own St. Timothy Construction Corporation. During the Senate Blue Ribbon hearing on September 1, Sara Discaya admitted to owning 9 construction firms that sometimes bid for the same government projects. In a later hearing, the couple alleged collusion between lawmakers and government agencies to pocket public funds from government projects. The DPWH officials named in the letter are Henry Alcantara, Bryce Hernandez, JP Mendoza, and RJ Domasig. These individuals are part of the so-called Bulacan Group of Contractors or BGC Boys. Senator Ping Lacson earlier alleged that DPWH officials colluded to scheme money off government projects, falsified documents, and even engaged in money laundering through casinos. They tagged the BGC Boys in the schemes, saying they lost over 950 million pesos in casinos. Vice President Sara Duterte reiterates that no public funds were spent on her personal travels since July 2024, but acknowledges that over 7 million pesos was used for her security detail and staff. During the House Committee on Appropriations hearing on Tuesday, September 16, ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino asks Duterte whether she had used personal leaves for her trips. In response, Duterte says vice presidents and presidents do not take personal leaves. She says she secured travel authority from the Office of the President for all her trips. She then emphasizes that she did not charge the Office of the Vice President for her personal trips.
No public funds were used for all my travels. I did not charge representation. I did not charge tickets. I did not charge per dime for all my travels in the Office of the Vice President. So if you can see in the breakdown of the budget of travel for Office of the Vice President, you can see that there was a zero amount for the Vice President.
When Tino's time expired, Kabataan Party List Representative Rene Cole follows up asking whether public funds were spent on OVP staff during Duterte's trips. In response, Duterte gives a breakdown of expenditures which totaled 7.473 million pesos. The total cost spans the expenses for 9 trips for both the security and OVP personnel. These include trips to Southeast Asia, Australia, the Middle East, Europe, and East Asia. Earlier in the hearing, Duterte waived the parliamentary courtesy accorded to her by House members, allowing questions from Tino and Co. Vice President Sara Duterte says she recently discussed politics and the recent flood control mess with her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte. In an ambush interview on Tuesday, September 16, Vice President Duterte was asked about the state of her father. The elder Duterte is currently detained at the International Criminal Court headquarters at The Hague, the Netherlands. When asked to clarify further what they discussed, Vice President Duterte says discussing such matters publicly is not allowed.
Tumawag siya last Friday. Monday ngayon. Hindi siya tumawag kahapon. Last Friday siya tumawag. It's okay. Usap kami about politics. Usap kami about flood control. Usap kami about love life niya. Kasi bawal ako mag-discuss ng kung anong pinag-uusapan din sa loob eh. So hindi ko masabi kung ano sinasabi niya.
The former president's legal counsel earlier told the ICC that he is not fit to stand trial due to cognitive deficiencies. Duterte's lawyer Nicholas Kaufman said he is unable to recall events, places, and even members of his close family and defense team. The prosecution then urged the ICC to have medical experts review the defense's claims. When pressed about the former president's status, Vice President Duterte says there will be hearings about her father's competencies and ability to stand trial.
Sa tingin ko naman, merong mangyayaring hearing sa competency. So, antayin na lang natin yung mga experts. Both sides, sa ICC, sa prosecution, sa defense side. And I'm sure maglalabasan yung mga experts para sabihin kung ano yung problema. Ay, naku, hindi ako expert sa kung ano dapat ang kapasidad ng isang witness or ng isang accused.
The Department of Transportation and the Land Transportation Office filed criminal complaints against two of the so-called BGC boys involved in anomalous flood control projects. The agencies filed the two separate complaints before the Parañaque City Prosecutor's Office on Tuesday, September 16. Identified as respondents of the complaints are former Department of Public Works and Highways Bulacan 1st District Engineer Henry Alcantara and former Assistant District Engineer Bryce Hernandez. Both complaints stem from Alcantara and Hernandez's alleged use of fake driver's licenses to enter a casino. Based on the complaints, Alcantara and Hernandez violated Article 172 of the Revised Penal Code. If found guilty, the respondents may face up to 6 years in prison and a fine of up to 1 million pesos. According to the complaints, their alleged use of fake licenses caused damage to the LTO's integrity and undermined public trust in the agency.
Kung maaalala nyo po sa pandinig sa Senado, bagamat may sinabi sila Henry Alcantara na yung lisensya ay binigay lamang ng Okada, hindi naman po nila tinatanggi na ginamit nila ang lisensyang yun. At yan po ay isang krimen. So ang DOTR at ang LTO, hindi po natin hayaan na lapastanganin ng ninuman, ng mapa-opisyal o pribadong individual, ang lisensya po ng DOTR at ng LTO. So mananagot po sila sa batas.
The DOTR earlier said casino employees referred to the two as part of the Bulacan Group of Contractors or BGC Boys. Meanwhile, Acting Transport Secretary Giovanni Lopez says more complaints are expected to be filed against the rest of the BGC Boys. These are DPWH officials JP Mendoza, RJ Damasig, and contractor Edric San Diego. He also notes that the agency will go after those who gave the BGC Boys their fake licenses. Senator Ping Lacson earlier revealed that the BGC Boys laundered billions of pesos in casinos, even using fake licenses in one of the casinos they played in. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.